Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about cutting corners. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, how are programmers supposed to learn how to write good software if every company is forcing them to cut corners? Now this is it's a good question. It's a bit of a loaded question. I spoke to this person and I do feel that there is a bit of bitterness, or I would say that someone has started to get this frustration from feeling that they are undermined by the business continuously. And the short answer is that you have to make a personal investment in your spare time in order to make this happen. Now, what I mean by that is that if you only spend your time coding during work hours, odds are that you will never be as good as you can be, because in order for you to learn how to do newer and better things, you actually need to be a part of the vast ecosystem or the community, if you will, of different programmers. So what I will argue is that there are usually two parts to a developer's personal development. So one part is the theoretical world, the world of the internet, the world of books, the world of blogs, the world of all of these different things, right? And then you have actual work experience, actual working life, the thing that you are doing every single day when you are working for a company or working for yourself or something like that. Now, in the theoretical world, this is where you learn the ideals, the new ideas, and basically the practices that later on become best practices. They start out in this world. And by learning about these things and reading and so forth, you can take these ideals and you can try to apply them in actual real life. And it is in real life where you will start to field test, if you will, these theoretical solutions to different problems. And you will start to see what works and what doesn't work. But everything starts out in a theoretical manner. It's just that you need to of course check whether or not this is cracked up, or if it's cracked up to what it's supposed to be, right? And this process is the thing where you will start to this is this process that is going to improve you as a developer. You are going to get smarter, you're going to get faster, and you're going to be more capable of predicting ahead of time what's going to happen, how things are going to play out, and if this theoretical idea is a good idea or if it's a bad idea. This is how this happens. You can't do one without the other. You need both of these parts in order to make this work. Because if you, as this person was saying, if you're only working in an environment where you're continuously working in the exact same fashion as you have for years and years and years at the specific company, which is usually the case, you won't actually evolve all that much. You will evolve to a certain degree, but not as much as you could. So. And the same thing goes for theory. If you're just in theory land, it's very hard for you to figure out what's actually going to work and what's not going to work. Then you're basically going to stay a fanboy or like an evangelist of some sort without learning the skills that actually are tied into these ideals. So the problem that this person is describing is that the companies that you work for, they will always push you to be faster, because that is the main focus. This idea of quality software and so forth is never ever going to be as important as delivering on time for a business person. It doesn't exist. No company cares about quality software if it means that they can ship on time. They're always going to give you this and push you to be faster or to meet this deadline or cut corners and so forth. Now, this is inevitable. This is for every single company, pretty much. Like, it's not about this idea that some people have that writing quality software is what this industry is about. This is not true. It is about writing the best possible code in the time that you have been given. That's what it's about. Now, if you think about that, that means that this process that you are going through, this improving of yourself and your own skills, is actually the key to solving this issue with you feeling like you're not allowed to write good software, or like you're not allowed to learn how to do this. Because at some point, you are going to become so good at programming and managing stakeholders, because it's not just about the coding, it's also about talking to people and making them understand how important certain decisions are and what considerations they need to make. When you get really good at that, you will actually surpass the expectations of your employer. What I mean by that is that your employer has this deadline, or you have this idea of how much time you have. It's not like you just need to be faster all the time. It's more about you need to be so fast that you meet these deadlines and you can handle all of these different issues. And that's going to vary from company to company, but the base idea is the same. They just want they want to feel comfortable knowing, they want to feel safe in the idea that they will be able to deliver on time. And when you are good enough, you will be able to do that and still have some time over. Basically, you're going to be faster than what is required to be in order to solve this problem. And now comes the true challenge, where you need to show your real colors. If you are that good, and you will be, and maybe you are already, what do you do with the extra time? Because in the beginning of things, you're going to struggle just to keep up with everything, and you're going to write shit code just to fulfill the deadline. And sometimes you actually do have to still do that, even if you're really good. But quite often you will find that you actually have the time to do certain things. Like you can hack things together, but I see more programmers who are really experienced and senior hacking things together more because it's a bother for them to do things well, rather than that they don't have the time. They have the time, it's just that they emotionally feel like this is a lot of work. They don't want to rewrite things. This is what I've said in a few other videos. If you ever get to a point where the legacy grows too big, or like you have a blob of legacy code, most people will feel a mental problem with dealing with that mess, and they will rather hack more things together and avoid dealing with that issue rather than try to fix it. And this is the actual problem. It's not usually the problem that you don't have the time to do things well. You may never have enough time to make things perfect, but that's on you. There's no such thing as perfect. But you will have the time to actually to make improvements. And this is the thing which is going to dictate if you're ever going to improve a code base, or if it's just going to rot to the point where it's almost unusable. Because when you get to that point where you can get people to get on board with your ideas, and you're that fast that you can actually that you feel comfortable in the fact that you know that you're going to meet the deadline, then there's no point in sprinting. You can think of it as running a marathon. Now, you can absolutely go into every single race with the idea that I'm going to run my absolute ass off and I'm going to push it to the absolute breaking point to get there as quickly as possible. But the question is that all that valuable? Unless you're actually competing for the short, like for the best times, it's actually much more efficient for you to just put yourself at a pace where you will hit the deadline, or you will finish the race without killing yourself. This is exactly the same sort of story. So what I want you to take away from this is that in order for you to learn how to actually write good, clean, efficient software, you need to get your skills up to a point where you can actually meet the deadlines. And when you pass that point where you can actually comfortably feel that you can always meet your deadline, that extra time that you're gaining from talking to stakeholders, making them realize that you need more time, or just writing code more efficiently, that's the secret to be able to get capacity to do all of these things. That is where you go from having absolutely no time to do anything besides hacking things together, to having just a little bit more time to take things slightly slower and apply some of these best practices that you learn in the theoretical world. This is the process. This is what you have to do. It comes down to how good you are, but also to how you think about incremental improvements to a code base. Because if you don't care, if you're like some of the people I have seen who just gain this knowledge and this expertise, but they still don't apply it because they don't want to deal with the messy code base, then you are the problem. You have achieved the goal of being able to do something, but you choose not to fix it. Have a great day.